Hi everyone, it's Cheri from 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop, and today we're going to be doing a set of eyes. Now you guys know me for Franklin Bear eyes, and I do use my stamp sometimes if I don't feel like doing eyelashes or if I'm having trouble with my hands. Today we're going to be doing gingerbread eyes, the oval teardrop shape ones. So I grabbed a piece. He's lighter than what I'm working on, but I just grabbed a scrap piece of paper to cut the head out on. And it's so I can show you guys examples of how to do the whites of the eyes. Don't mind my hands. I actually tried talking through the whole video, but it was a lot longer. So I sped it up a little bit, and there I cut out all of my eyes, hundreds at a time. And because I use the same size head, if you look at the squares, they're 1-inch squares, and I measure from cheek to cheek 2 inches. I use that as a standard sizing in Cricut Design Space. That way my pieces come out either 4.5 to 5.25 inches tall, which work great on a 12 by 12 layout for me or for my customers who order them. As you guys know, I do customer orders. So after thinking I was going to be able to record this in real time, I ended up just doing a voiceover to make it a little bit quicker. So once you get your perfect eyes on your piece, now you're going to create a template so that way your eyes are all evenly spaced apart and they are the same distance on every single character. What I do is I lay over 2 white bases of the eyes onto the eyes that I've already completed, and I use a small piece of cardstock to go in between the whites and apply a little bit of art glitter glue or barely art glue and let it dry. And that middle cardstock is going to be very imperative to using this eye template over and over again, because you're actually going to put Cosmic Shimmer glitter glue on the back, flake and glitter glue, I'm sorry, and I do show that, and allow it to dry. That way you can pick it up by the middle, because the edges do pick up your ink and will smear if you don't use that middle piece of cardstock to pull it up straight off of whatever piece you're working on. There's the glue bottle. And I was saying don't get the big one. If you're new to paper piecing, you don't need the big one. I use it on acetate. I use it for my glitter because it dries clear. I use it as a removable glue for my eyes, as in this instance, and sometimes even with my noses, knowing that I want to put eyes in a certain place, but I have to make sure that I get my nose on. So for this, you're going to need a couple pan pastel colors. The first one I had in my hand is black. I used that on my brown cardstocks. The other one that I'm holding now is going to be neutral gray extra dark. I used that on peach or white, like my ghosts cardstock, and then titanium white for the whites of the eyes on the black cardstock. The only thing I use smooth cardstock for is my eyes. Everything else, all my other paper is textured. I use a Prisma color pencil for the white lines on the eyes, Jelly Roll in a 08. They do come in a 05, 08, and a 10. The 8 works just fine for all dots. This is a lip brush. It's on my Facebook, Paper Pieces and Leftovers. And then my Micron 005 and 02. The 005 is a 0.20 millimeter, and the 02 is a 0.30 millimeter. I got both of those at Hobby Lobby, but they're sold at Amazon, they're sold at Michael's, you can get them all over the place. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this gingerbread to the side, just because I was giving you guys what our goal is to have the outcome look like. And for the icing, I move it where just a little bit of the head is sticking out of the top, because I have to be able to get his eyebrows under there. And so I put the eyes down a lot lower so the eyebrow will have enough room. I put a little bit of pressure on the eyes. They will stay now. You don't have to hold them down. And that was just showing that I normally do my gingerbreads a little bit darker, but this is just a scrap piece of paper, so I can show you guys the process, because I had already traced the eyes before I realized that I was going to do the eye video tonight. Once I get my eyes in the position I want them, as you see, I put a little bit of pressure to make that Cosmic Shimmer glue stick. And I'm going to use my Micron 02 pencil pen, and I'm marking my eye because this is a newer eye. That's my start and stop point. That way both of my eyes have approximately the same size outline on both sides. Now, doing eyes, it's very time consuming and very tedious. But as you know, eyelashes make all the difference on pieces, and they can be overwhelming. I've been doing this for 20 years. Now, here's the smudges I was telling you about. The more you trace on the same template for eyes, it does have the chance of smearing, so pull it straight up. And after I trace the eyes with the 02 micron pen, I'm going to do the eyelashes with the 005. And I do 2 shorts and then a long, and then I alternate short and long down. And my goal is to have anywhere from 6 to 8 longer lashes. And that's how I just picked a number where I know that they're going to go a good distance all the way around the eye for my preference. And after I get the eye lashes on one side done and my 2 little sprigs of lashes going downwards, I try to go straight across and put a mark. That way I know where the lashes on the other eye should stop. That way then they're as even as I can make them. They're hand-drawn eyelashes. I don't think I've ever gotten 2 sets exactly the same. I can get them close, but they're never going to be identical. There are several ways to do eyelashes. I know if you look at different creators, the way I'm doing them is my little swoop, my curve goes downwards. And there are other creators that make their curve, instead of being open facing upwards, it's open facing downwards. They just do them in the opposite direction. I have not mastered that yet. Now that my eyelashes are on both sides, they dry pretty instantly. And now it's going to be applying my pan pastel chalk, but you can use Stampin' Up! Chalks. You can use chalks from Hobby Lobby or wherever you pick them up from. This brush is on my Paper Pieces and Leftovers Facebook. I got it from Amazon. I originally got it from Hobby Lobby, but Amazon had them. They are false eyelash glue applicators. They come in packs of 50 and 100. I was using a paintbrush and applying my black chalk to my eyes. And one day I was checking out at Hobby Lobby and I saw this weird pack of brushes and I picked them up. I'm like, I could find a use for that. I find the most weird stuff to turn into scrapbooking. And quite a few people that have watched my videos that actually do their own videos have started using these because I brought to light something that you have a little bit more control of than you do a paintbrush. And I like seeing people use things that I've utilized that weren't meant for scrapbooking. I like seeing them use it. And that's why we create these videos for you guys, is to give you guys tips, tricks, and tools. Now, your pan pastel or your chalks are erasable. And as you see, I'm going to erase them until I get it where the bottom, I actually have that as a thinner black shadow than the rest of it, just because it's the bottom of the eye and I don't need a super bulge smoky eye on the bottom. And I'm just going to go around both of them and clean it up because I want a pretty thin line. Like I said, I use the black for any brown, any shade of brown cardstock. And then I use the neutral gray extra dark for my peaches and my white cardstocks. And I use textured cardstock. Eyelashes on textured cardstock can be challenging. So what I did is I started on a smooth piece of paper and practiced eyelashes over and over and over until I found the ones that suited me. Now that I got the chalk on, I'm going to put my eyes on. And that outline that you trace the eye with, that's just a guide I use for my eyes to put them on so I know where to place them. It's not necessarily for it to show, but that's the line I use for my chalking, and then the line I use to put my eyes back onto the eyelashes. And I wanted this one to be a little bit more even, so I went back around it because that was the longer side. I just scooted the eye a little bit further into the lash line. That way they didn't appear as long. It's funny, as I sit here doing the voiceover, I'm finding all the glue all over my left hand because that's where I wiped the excess glue off. All right, so those dry instantaneously using art glitter glue. And now we're going to pull the titanium white pan pastel out. I do use different chalks. And these chalks you do not need several of. One pan will last you a long time. I think I'm still on the same pan from a year ago. I ordered a bunch not realizing that one disc, one pan goes a very long way because you use such a minute amount. After I dip my brush or my tool into it though, I do wipe the excess off in the lid. Now here, using that lip makeup brush, you can either do a round like I did in the left eye or a swooped white of the eye. And what I do after I get that one on is I just use my eraser and clean it up. And I will show closer to the camera so you guys can see what I mean. And I'm just giving you guys different options and different versions of what you might like. Also, for using your chalk pencil, the left eye, I just did a little white line, and the right eye, I'm doing a longer white line. And the same thing's going to be with the white dots. For the left eye, I went with one to start, and I went closer to the main focal dot. And the right eye, I went on the chalk pencil line, and I used two. It's really going to be your preference on what you're looking for. And if you look at everybody's eyes, our eyes are similar, but not the same for any of us that make our own paper pieces. And over time, you're gonna change it. You might stick with one consistent eye, but it won't look like it did, for instance, for me 20 years ago when I started this. I dreaded eyes. Now I don't mind them, but they don't look anything like they used to. And there's the single dot on the left eye and the two dots on the right eye. And I was showing on that little white piece of paper the lashes going up versus the lashes going down. I cut that part of the video out just because it was prolonging the video and I was trying to make it a little bit shorter. And then I was just showing, after I put the chalk on the pink chalk on the cheeks, I sometimes will put a little dot on the cheeks just to brighten it up because it just is cute. But those are the difference in the eyes, and one lash goes kind of straight up and the other's a little bit more curved, and it's just two different eyelash styles. That way you guys can see. And here is both of the eyes that I prefer to use. On my Facebook, I do have eye tutorials for the other eye. If you're interested, it's Paper Pieces and Leftovers. We do read the comments. I might not get back to you right away, but I do see them. And if not, 12 by 12 Cardstock Shop answers them, and they answer them pretty speedy. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Any questions, feel free to ask. Take care.